Okay. I've run out of questions. Anybody has a question? Please do not make statements, because if you do, I'll cut you off, I promise. Did you hear me make a statement? No, only the beginning. All right, go ahead. Yeah.
Good evening, everyone. My question
That's a
is...
statement.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll be referring to the axis of films that we've been talking about, and we heard about a number of theaters not coming in tier 3, 4 cities. What we also realize is this unique concept of mobile theaters that's making way far deeper in rural markets as well, where for a minimal charge of 10 rupees, you can actually get a rural audience sit in a corner with his family and watch television. Now, I understand that cinema has to also do a lot with the experience. So watching it on a smartphone or watching Bahubali on a smartphone is definitely killing the kind of content that these guys would have made. However, if I still make it a 20 by 20 kind of a screen and I travel across to the hinterlands, will it not be great? Okay. Or are we doing something about it?
We used to have mobile theaters, right? They used to traveling mobile theaters.
Traveling
I used
cinema.
to see
It's
them.
happening again.
Are we still supporting them?
It's happening again, and there are plans to have them in trains, in buses. Buses are already showing it. So, but...
बस का छोटा screen होता है.
Correct. Correct.
बड़ी screen की बात कर रहा हूँ.
Which is, you take the big screen out there and show it to them. That's one way of solving the cinema problem in the smaller places. But I think at least the B and C towns should have far more cinemas, and then the villages can have the...
Mobile theater.
My name is Aubrey Aloysius, and this question is directed to Shobhu. Thank you for being very honest and sharing.
He's not told you the true figure.
I know. That's why the next question is a little probing. If you could, I've got two questions. Okay, just to take off from the previous answer. One is you've shared you've revealed the fact that you've shared the IPR between Rajamouli and you. I would really love to know, because I'm in the process of making a film, what was that percentage share? Number one. I mean, it's probing. And number two, on the web series, or I'll wait for your answer and then I'll ask this second question.
I think on the IPR, it's about 33%, one third to Rajamouli and 2/3 to the production house. Yeah.
Thank you.
How much of the production? The question you should ask: how much of the production house does Rajamouli own?
No, nothing.
That's a tricky one. Okay, I didn't know that. Second one is the web series. How do you plan to monetize it? If there are 300 million viewers, is there a monetization plan?
No, I'm sorry. The web series is more what animation series that we're making is for Amazon Prime, and the live action is for one of the major broadcasters. It's still in discussion. I can't disclose that. But for the 300 million, what I was talking about is more of the mobile game that I feel will be more accessible and available. What we can offer is a mobile game, and I think a mobile game is its own monetization in-app advertising and all that stuff. Yeah.
I'll take this offline further. Thank you.
There's also an interesting question you raised is monetization, because they've already created a brand called Bahubali. So anything they do, even if they don't monetize it, they can do Bahubali 3, and the web series is already branding it even further. So there's always this question that nobody brought up today is, when you talk about monetization, I tweet a lot and everybody said, yeah, why are you spending so money? You make no money. I said, well, I love doing it, but also it's a brand building exercise. So a lot of it is to reinforce a brand. I'm sure if Sholay had all this at the 360 degree this time, you would probably own half the industry by now, with the amount of money you would have made with 360 degree around Sholay. Just on the face of something that happened, 30 years ago? 42 years ago? And it's still alive? I mean, you cannot talk about the Hindi film business without talking about Sholay. So imagine that if everything there was let's talk about that a little bit, yeah? If everything, and keep it short, okay? Ramesh, I know you like to discuss a lot of things, but just if everything that is available now in terms of web series, video games, franchises, everything that you can. Just give me a figure. In 42 years, how much money would you have made on Sholay? Quickly, just calculate it, just one figure. At today's prices.
Huge. Probably.
Number.
All right.
Number.
I mean, offhand, probably a couple of 100 crores more.
No, you would have made 1,000 crores. You're wrong.
No, yeah. Because what comes to you finally is what comes to you.
Okay. All right.
The actual encashing maybe 1,000 crores.
Take us a
So, wait, there's somebody, a gentleman ahead of you. Oh, no, yes. He
So,
was photographing me, and I thought, he's raising his hand to ask a question. Yeah, okay.
So, gentlemen, quick question. Thank you very much for the panel discussion. Stories don't change, packaging changes. So, with technology, I think one of the things that we see, because we work a lot with the international movies in Hollywood, is that the largest line item in the top 50, 100, 150 movies, I'm talking about revenues, will have the largest line item is technology in terms of visual effects and CGI and so on.
Time for you to get to the question.
The question is that do you think for the journey from volumes to valuation in India will be when directors really drive technology and storytelling the way they want to do it at the cost of the actors?
Okay, I'll tell you what I feel in one sentence, but you have a much more, both of you have much more experience. When I look at the history of cinema, films were much better when they were driven by directors. Each time actors have become much more important when this charges 60% of the value. The quality of film has gone down. I'm not saying the business went down, the quality of film went down. But Ramesh, you've been in this business for 42 years.
No, I think there is no question that everyone, since time immemorial, Dilip Kumar and Raj Kapoor and Dev Anand stars, they've always had value. They will always have value. But you cannot beat the combination of a great script and great movie making. And the West has proved it. Then the star cast may not matter, because all these animation films that are such big hits don't have it. They take the actors to dub it, so giving it some kind of a value there. But in the film itself, the technology works. I think it's got to be fought on all levels. I think you got to, as you said, the 360 degrees. You got to think of films that will appeal on the little mobile. You got to think of different material that will appeal on the big screen, and different material, and then of course cross it with coverage all over, as you said, the 360 degrees way. But there should be people sitting on this separately from just the maker who has created this. He should be busy creating the next big thing. But there should be people who understand monetization and how to take that material forward along the lines which Hollywood has done. We lack that, 100% lack it. One of the early people who have started it, great, and it should continue that way. More and more people should think about it. More and more people who are behind with the money, they should be thinking about it. They should be encouraging it.
He's not listening to you. Listen, he just said something to you.
People who want to back movies and are afraid to back the producer or the director, they should be there to see that the monetization is done correctly with a lot of technology behind it. And they probably would rely on technology more than on a director or a...
I'm sorry, I didn't realize you were talking. It was an offline discussion, but it was... You know, the truth is actually, Mississippi, that recently, and you've seen it in spurts, there has been capital, forget whether it's equity or debt, money. There has been money that has been given to a lot of directors. There has been a lot of money that's been given to a lot of actors, and the combination. But sometimes, I think, when there is, you know, everyone's heard of these multi-film deals, and, you know, in the past, you know, with either a director or with, you know, with a star. And I think somewhere, that the balance, literally, of the commerce and the creativity, I mean, everything has to fit in, and sometimes, and we are not, we're sitting over here, we really don't take care of that part of the business or how that combination works. But I think, you know, without taking names...
I think you missed the point.
You got my point, yeah.
You missed the point, because what Shekhar said is, and as I elaborated on it, was a maker, a director, a writer, they should be involved in the making of the film and move on to the next making.
Right.
Whereas there's a whole other department that should be working to encash that product which is successful because then you're backing the right thing. You guys will come in there because you say, okay, this is already successful. So listen to me and don't feel defensive.
No.
All I'm saying is that you guys can help, and there you won't mind it because you're backing the right product which has succeeded. And there are models all over the world which show that these things can be done, and therefore you will be backing something which is already good. So if...
Sorry. Questions? More questions. ये लड़ पड़ेंगे आपस में.
Can I, sir, now, butt in?
Yeah. Okay.
Shekhar, sir, you have definitely asked the panel members to share their, experiences and what exactly, how they have undergone all these type of problems, etc. But, sir, we would also like that you should also share your experiences with the audience.
What?
Sir, like when you were making Bandit Queen, like bold film like Bandit Queen, or a very wonderful film like Masoom. I'm told that I think that was your first film, if I have not mistaken, sir, Masoom.
I'm sorry, I love what you're saying, but it's still a statement.
No, sir. I say you have not shared your experience with the audience.
I can't. No, if you ask me a specific question,
I am saying
I will enthrall you for 3 hours about my experiences. But
no,
what's the question?
like the film, bold film like Bandit Queen.
Yeah.
Because naturally, it was the story of a bandit
I
queen.
didn't go out to make a bold film. I went out to make a film from my heart, and I knew I was taking a risk. Whenever you do something from the heart, you are challenging perceptions constantly. But so you just, when you're fearless, you are fearless, and then you have to do it fearlessly, and I made it fearlessly. Okay,
So
I'm
what
sorry.
about-
Yes.
Yeah, what about monetization of movies on the television screen? The two trends we see is you've got things like Showcase on Tata Sky, and movies are now available, say, 3 weeks, 4 weeks after a theatrical release. So how about a model? And Mr. Sippy and Shekhar, what do you have to say about monetization on TV? So a movie comes like Aankho Dekhi, creatively appreciated, and then if it recovers its money and makes more on a release on television and on pay-per-view on Tata Sky or the other streaming models, how's that trend evolving? Can you give us some light on that?
I am screen agnostic. From my point of view, I used to say that nobody will ever be able to see a film on the cell phone. And I've been watching films on cell phones. And sound has compensated for vision. And I watch everything on Netflix. I watch on my big iPad. I don't turn the television screen on. But, going back, yes, I think the television screen is a very, very important asset in the hands of the filmmaker. I think the best stories right now are being told on television. I think I can say this right now. I'm actually in London. I'm producing and directing a TV series on William Shakespeare, which cost $75 million. So I know that all the money's gone in. It's going in. The best, everybody's watching. The biggest media and entertainment event is Game of Thrones. It's not Star Wars. More people watch Game of Thrones every week than the whole number of people that have watched Star Wars. So television is becoming huge. The best story writers are moving into television. The best filmmakers are going to television. Independent cinema has been taken over by television, and rightly so. So I think, yes, your question, but I'll give it to you, Ramesh, is, yes, in a moment, how soon after the release of a film should a film go to TV? That's your question.
Correct.
Should that be the filmmaker's choice?
And if you can monetize 200% of your cast, and it comes even 2 weeks or 3 weeks later, money is money.
No, the danger about that, I must point out, is once this is a regular thing, the audience that goes to the cinema will know if I wait another 2 weeks, I can see it on television for a much smaller sum of money. Your cinema going could fall. I'm not sure whether I'm saying the right thing and who should take that call, but ultimately going onto television is the right, that window is perfect. But the timing of that, I'm not quite sure.
And Raj, do you have some statistics? Like Pink was shown on Sunday, 4 weeks after release. And if you have pay-per-view or maybe the theatrical gave like 60% revenue and maybe another 50% came through the satellite. So do you have some statistics? You keep on saying the statistics isn't available. If in this forum you mention that you can get 100% returns on television itself, well, that's a fantastic business model. Make for TV.
Yeah. I wouldn't have numbers on those, but actually these conversations have been happening about actually evolving the right windows. And ideally, because right now the monetization in theaters is happening very quickly, like Shekhar sir was saying earlier, in 2-3 weeks time, you basically recover almost 90% of your theatrical revenues. So it can easily go on to other verticals. But like Ramesh ji said, that is certainly a danger that we need to address. If people are not really wanting to go to the theaters because they think it is actually coming on other windows very quickly. So that is something that needs to be tackled, and these conversations are happening right now as we speak across industries. And they're trying to basically see whether it is a 3-month window or like in some cases they're actually doing 45 days. I mean, that is happening right now, and eventually something will evolve.
Yeah.
When we are talking about our movies going to the international market, we said we don't have an international presence as of yet. Don't you think it is because the value of our movies goes down? I mean, earlier the emphasis was on story, acting, direction. Right now the movies are concentrating more on masala, the glamour part. They're more concentrating on the music, the beats, and the hype the movie gets. But when you actually go out to see the movie, it's a big disappointment. Apart from the song that was advertised, there's nothing much else to see.
I'm going to give this. I do know that when I go to Russia or Romania or Kenya or South America, they look, Indian, Avara hu, you know. They start off with Hindi film songs and even Raj Kapoor songs and some of Karan Johar's songs. But the film doesn't travel. They used to. The songs do. The idea does. Bollywood, the idea travels. The film doesn't. But they used to. The fact that Sangam built an empire for one of the most famous families in India, that came out of India. The base of the Hindujas was the takings of Sangam, right? What happened to our storytelling is the question.
No, I think the storytelling, maybe Sangam, Sholay, these are all exceptions. They're not the usual film that goes there. 90% of the product is not Sangam and Sholay or Bahubali. And so, see, the films that travel well, they find that either through a song or through a particular actor and his interpretation as the poor man's, like Raj Kapoor's image was so strongly built in. So those kind of travels are different. But otherwise, if your point is correct, then tell me, did we make that much money from overseas before? No, we never did. We never really did compared to Hollywood films. Some films have always done well, so that's not the rule.
Okay, I have a beautiful note that I'm going to read out to you. Can I read out? Dear sir, can I request you, please wrap up the session.
Sir, I have one last question.
No, I've got to wrap it up. Oh. Can I take one more question?
Yeah. Just one last question, sir. My 8-year
son... Can I read that note again? No?
My 8-year son is asking, Katappa ne Bahubali ko kyun mara?
That's the end of the session. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, everybody, for being here. Yeah, thanks.